Let's go back for a moment. Not far, just back in time. Specifically, the PS1 era. It was a time when Looney Tunes had more than just reruns on TV. They had a real presence in video games too. During those years, Infogrames, one of the major publishing group of the time, focused a good part of its energy on developing licensed game. They saw an opportunity in the Looney Tunes brand and put care into crafting games that made sense for their audience. And by audience, I mean us, kids. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you were one of them. You probably remember Bugs Bunny, Lost in Time, and maybe even Bugs Bunny and Tad's Time Busters, both with solid titles, and honestly, each probably deserves a video of its own. But there was a third game, one that didn't get as much attention at the time. Maybe because the main protagonist is not the long-eared frontman, or maybe because he looked very like Willy, even if he is not him. But it is still a good new game to play for most of you today. And that's the one I want to talk about. So here's why you should play Sheep Raider, also known as Sheep, Dog and Wolf. Sheep Raider came out in 2001, and there's no hiding it. It doesn't rely on high-end graphics to disguise its age. What you get are bold, chunky polygons, sharp edges, and a look that feels straight from that era. But somehow it still works. There is something about its style that holds up. Not because it pushed technical boundaries, but because it stayed true to the cartoon it was based on. The shading mimics the original Looney Tunes feel, and the colors are loud, high contrast, just like you expect. Movements are exaggerated. Physics are bouncy and abrupt in a way that doesn't feel like an imitation. It feels like the animation style just stepped into 3D. The background surprisingly managed to do more than just set the scene. Some of them, honestly, look better than what you would catch in a Saturday morning rerun. That kind of consistency matters, and maybe that's what the PS1 was really good at. Not realism, but finding the right way to use its limitation. When you've only got so many polygons to work with, it's somehow easier to believe in a cartoon wolf than, let me say, an overly detailed, half-naked fantasy warrior. Because in the end, it's not the graphic that keeps the game fresh, it's how it plays. And in terms of how it plays, Sheep Rider stands out. It sits in this unusual space between stealth, platforming and puzzle solving. There really aren't many other games quite like it, or at least I didn't feel like checking, and I doubt many popped out since then. Everything in the game sticks close to its premise. You are Ralph the Wolf, suddenly thrown into a game show hosted by Daffy Duck. Your goal is to steal every sheep from the flock, one by one, under the watchful eye of Sam Sheepdog. Each level is one sheep. Each sheep is harder to reach than the last one. The fewer sheep remain, the more alert Sam becomes. And as that happens, the level grows more complex. Not just in layout, but in how you have to think to outsmart the dog. It's not about rushing or reflexes. It's about observation, patience, and figuring out what tools you have and how to use them. From the very beginning, the game makes it clear. It knows what it is. And it leans into it, not just visually, but through how it teaches you to play. The tutorials opens with something simple, how to run. You'll need it later, especially to get away from Sam. But instead of just handing you the controls, the game puts you in a scene. As you start running, Beep Beep appears beside you. Ralph the Wolf looks suspiciously like Willy E. Coyote, after all. Keep running and you hit a ravine. And instead of falling, you stay suspended in midair, breaking every law of physics. Then Beep Beep runs into a tunnel, painted into the side of a wall. You try to follow and crash straight into it. Just like that, the game teaches you. You can hover if you keep running, you'll crash if you hit something solid. And it does it without any dialogue boxes or interruption. It just shows you, lets you mess up, and quietly reset you in place. That's the rhythm of the whole game. Try, fail, try it again. There's no heavy punishment, no lost progress. It keeps the same energy as the cartoons is inspired by, where the things explode, fall, crash, but nobody ever really gets hurt. And this idea extends to all the tools the game gives you. The rocket lets you fly in high places, but it's unstable and limited. How fast you go, how many walls you hit, all of it matters. The rubber band can launch ship or yourself. It's also used for bungee jumping into places you can't reach otherwise. There's a ship costume that lets you blend in and even bleed to guide the ship where you want them. There are other costumes too, each one with a very specific use. You get mines to reposition and detonate, anti-mine gear to walk through danger zone without setting anything off. There's even a little remote control robot, simple to use, with a design that fits right into the game's aesthetic and logic. And that's adorable. And then there's Lettuce, which turns out to be one of the most useful tools for luring sheep across the map. And yes, somewhere in there is a subscribe button too, which might not help you in the game, but definitely help if you want to hear more about weird gems like this. Now, all of this might sound like a lot to manage, but the game never really leaves you guessing, because every tool, every reaction has a bit of visual language built into it. Take the lettuce mechanic. When you place the first one, the next head of lettuce in your inventory changes colors. Green means that the ship will notice it once it hits the first. Red means it's too far away, it won't follow. No trial and error. Just a quiet signal that helps you plan ahead. The same goes for SAM awareness system. It doesn't need to have an expressive face or complex animation. There's a color-coded alarm that shows exactly what he sees. You know when you're hidden, when you're pushing your luck, and when it's too late. That kind of feedback doesn't shout at you. It's just there, doing its job, letting you focus on the puzzle instead of second-guessing the rules. However, the game never throws it all at you at once. It spreads it out, gives you space to learn, mess up, laugh a bit, and move on. Maybe I'm going faster than the game does, trying to explain it all in one go, but the game knows how to take its time. The mechanics are introduced one at a time. Naturally, never forced, never rushed. And what's impressive is that this continues from start to finish. The game never stops adding new tools, new ideas. It trusts that you have learned what came before and builds it on, piece by piece. Now, this next part is a little spoiler, so if you're the type who wants to go in completely fresh, maybe skip ahead, mute the video, or just close your eyes and pretend you didn't hear it. Or just stay, because even if I explain it, it won't really take away from how it feels when you play it yourself. So in the very last level, after you've completed every previous stage and finally captured the last ship, something unexpected happens. Marvin the Martian shows up in Duffy's studios, and for some reason he's lost all of his instant merchants. So now you're off to space, completely new setting, new objectives, and suddenly new mechanics. There's a tool to change your size, growing or shrinking depending on what you need to do. You now have to capture merchants, and the level is built around that, using everything new and everything old in one big final challenge. It's one of those moments where the game doesn't just throw in a twist for the sake of it. It uses that final space to stretch what you've learned and show you that there is still something being holding on to. And then it ends. Not a dramatic cutscene or a high-stake twist, but with something strangely quiet. Ralph and Sam meet again, just like at the very beginning of the game. They are standing at the time clock. They punch out, and suddenly everything you've played feels different, because none of it was about rivalry or danger or even winning. It was just another shift, another day at work. All that effort, all those puzzles, the sheep, the gadgets, it's just their job, like it's always been for them, and maybe for us too. Something to keep us busy, something wrapped in color and motions that pulled us in when we were kids. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little trip back. If you've got some suggestions for games you would like to see next, drop them in the comments. I always read them. My list is already pretty long, but there's always room for one more. I'm Stramato, and this was my recommendation for today.